It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm. We come to you from the 300 here at Transit Lanes, and here's the group of gentlemen that would love to bowl a 300 today. Josh Shoemaker will take on Rob Piccoli, then Alex Aughtry, and another one of our young guns, our returning champion from Salamanca, Dylon Ingersoll. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Peck with Buffalo Hall of Fame bowler Sue Nawojski. It's our second trip here to Transit Lanes, but we're making it a little harder today, aren't we?
That's right. We're taking the predictability out of Transit Lanes, and we're going to change the shot, and it's going to be a flatter pattern, making it a little bit more difficult.
All right, a little more challenge for all of our bowlers, including our defending champion, Dylon Ingersoll. So not only do you have to drive an hour and a half from Salamanca to get here, we're going to make it a little harder on you today. Are you ready to defend your title?
I think I am. I think I got enough practice in. It's my dad's birthday today, so I want to say happy birthday. And I'm hoping to get a win for him. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a real tough competition. But everyone here is pretty good, so I'm expecting higher scores. I'm hoping for you guys, but
we're hoping for you too for higher scores, right? He had to beat his dad to get here, so we're glad Dad can celebrate a little bit. We'll see Dylon in a little bit, but we've got some good bowling ready to come and challenge Mr. Ingersoll. So it's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm, and it is time to get rolling. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution. First match of the day pits Josh Shoemaker on the left against Rocket Rob Piccoli to get us started here at Transit Lanes. So, as we get rolling here, Sue, and what we alluded to in the beginning of the broadcast is what's called a middle-of-the-road oil pattern, much different than the typical house oil patterns we have here. So, explain as best you can what that's going to mean for the bowlers today.
Okay, so we just saw his first shot here, and it actually held up going down the lane, which is something we're going to watch for, because on a middle road pattern, it's a medium scoring condition. It's not going to be your typical sport shot that's going to be super, super, super difficult. But this is going to favor shot makers, which means if they make a bad shot and they miss in, the ball's going to hook. If they make a bad shot and they miss right, ball's going to hang out there for them a little bit. So this type of pattern will favor your shot makers. It's not going to have a whole lot of forgiveness. Your typical house shot will have a higher concentration in the middle, and it'll taper to less oil to give you help to bring the ball back. Great shot there by Josh.
And a little bit shorter down the lanes with the oil than we're normally used to as well.
Right, so if we're talking about, this is a 39-foot long pattern, say a typical house pattern will be 41. 2 feet's a lot, so that's going to be when the ball enters the dry boards past the oil pattern, that's where it starts to hook. So, the trick here is going to be to get your break point, get the ball out to your break point, and it's going to push people right a little bit because they need all that extra lane to get back to the pocket.
So just another fun piece of strategy that makes this a sport that is so determined by adjustments and ball changes and kind of, aside from the physical part of it, the mental part of it.
Right, and knowledge. And when you bowl well on a house shot all the time, we've seen some large averages over the last few months. We've seen 247 averages, 246 averages. Those are on house patterns with predictability. This shot is not quite as predictable, not as much forgiveness, and will force you into a good shot.
Yeah, the only other time on our show here on Beat the Champ that we did anything like this was when we were at the Town Edge Bowling Center, where
Correct.
They did a modified house shot. So, again, it's a good way. We've got the best bowlers in upstate New York competing and qualifying for the show. It's just
Right.
another little way to test them.
Right, so as a comparison, to make the show, to make the finals on a house pattern in the past has been 7:30, which means you have to shoot 7:30 for 3 games. On this pattern, it's closer to 640. So you're looking at 30 pins difference in per game difference in score. So the scores are going to be lower. It doesn't matter what the score is. What matters is that it's higher than everybody else's.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we might be a little more in the 200s and 210s than we tend to sometimes be in the 230s and 240s.
Can be, and if we see Josh here right now with the first double, made 2 great shots. Maybe he can carry it on.
Rob just couldn't get that 7-pin to wobble its way down.
And let me tell you, when you're working hard, making good shots to get to the pocket on something like this, when you get tapped and you don't get the result that you really probably should have, it's tough.
I love that. That was a total stare down the you god darn pin. You're supposed to go down.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Town Edge in the shot there, so that was a 4-to-1 ratio of oil. And the ratio means dry to oil. So that sounds pretty flat. There's not a huge difference between where it's dry and where it's oily. A typical house shot could be 15-to-1, which means the oil is oiler and the dry is drier.
Gotcha. All right, Josh Shoemaker is off to a great start, and he's going to make it 3 in a row to get things started. He's a 28-year-old firefighter from Henrietta, New York. He's making his first appearance here on our Beat the Champ show. Josh comes in right now with a 225 average, 20 career 300s, and a high 816 series.
Great start out of the gate here.
Yeah, so much for all that adjusting and that we talked about with these guys. It's not bothering Josh right now.
Well,
he's 3 frames and 3 strikes.
The important thing is they come in with a plan. And you know as well as anybody, you'd be the first one to tell me, is preparation is key, right?
Yep.
So knowing what he's bowling on, having a piece of equipment that he feels comfortable is going to give him the optimal scoring ability. Wants to get the ball down the lane, and he wants to use those dry boards to get to the pocket the best that he can, but he needs that space between the outside. You see he's coming from the outside to get in there because of how dry it is in the back.
All right, so with the way Josh is off to this good start, he's putting the pressure on Rob Piccoli. He's making his 3rd appearance here on Beat the Champ. He has yet to win. Last time we saw him was at the Tonawanda Bowling Center. He was actually on our very first show that was here at Transit Lanes, the second show of our 4-show run at Transit Lanes. So Rob is one of the 2 returners back to Transit Lanes. But again, it's not the same Transit Lanes it was when Rob was here the first time.
Right, which is a credit to him because he does have a preconception of what these lanes are like because he bowls league here. So it's a credit to him that he was able to overcome that and bowl on a different pattern.
39 years old, from Kenmore, New York, produce manager at Tops Markets is the occupation for Rob Piccoli. He has been a long-time, high-level Buffalo area bowler, bowls in 4 leagues full-time right now, 23 career 300s and an 815 series. And again, if you're making a list of the most competitive and highest level bowlers in Buffalo, that list will include Rocket Rob Piccoli.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this shot here. Because he's struggling to get the ball to the pocket, tried to help that one a little bit and helped it too much, and there's not going to be any hole to hold this ball back. So that one to the left of the head pin, obviously not where he wanted to be, but
the results
caught
were
a
what
break
he wanted. Yeah.
and
all right, so
got
now
his first strike.
That's his first strike after 4 straight spares. So now Josh Shoemaker, who has gone 10 pins on his first 4 frames, strikes all the way through, make it 5 in a row.
Look, now Josh just leaked that one a little bit to the right. I think the key for Josh is how far down the lane he's getting the ball. So we're looking down to his break point is all the way back there, and he got it all the way to the lip, but he still got it to recover because he's past the pattern.
All right, so obviously, as you can clearly see, Josh is a 2-hander versus a more traditional one-handed bowler in Rob Piccoli. Does that provide any benefits for Josh, and has that been part of the explanation for the start he's off to here?
No, not at all. It is simply shot making, and right now he's chosen the right ball because he wants something smooth, and he's picked the right ball to smooth this pattern out for him.
Make it 6 in a row. That will take us to a break, but Josh Shoemaker is literally on a roll. We come back. Match number 1, Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.
What is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach. Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So if no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
All right, so Rocket Rob is going to need to launch off here because he is battling Josh Shoemaker, who has yet to leave any pins through 6 frames. And Rob's been, has not had any opens, but it's 4 spares and a strike. And as good as that is, it's put him in a hole right now.
Yep, I feel like this is a ball change for Rob right here. And he tried to help that one as well, and almost caught the trip 4, but ball came up a little bit high. As you can see, he's getting around it, and he's almost like not quite pulling it, but he's helping the ball to the left, which on this pattern, it's going to move. It's not going to hold.
Right. All right. So now Rob slides over to the left side for frame number 7.
He's down 50 pins now,
Yeah,
so that's a big deficit. He hasn't missed any
it's-
spares. He's made all his spares.
No,
but
and that's why I said, he's bowling well here. He's unfortunately going up against a guy who's red hot right now. 4 career 800 series for Rob Piccoli. And again, everything seems to be fading to the left on him.
Well, he's doing it at the bottom of his swing, right at his point of release. He's coming around the side of the ball, and you cannot do that. I'm not going to get away with it on this. His projection needs to be a little bit further down the lane.
And that will be the first open frame here in the 7th for Rob Piccoli. And again, down as many pins as he is, that is absolutely what he could not afford to have happen. And that takes a little bit of the pressure off Josh Shoemaker, who would certainly love to keep doing what he's doing so far. I joked about someone wanting to throw a 300 here in the 300, and who knows that we might have a chance at that, huh?
Yeah, well, on this pattern, no one's really expecting a 300, so I think that, he's just looking to close out this match, and every one of these that fall will change the perspective to, maybe I can keep doing this.
And there you go. There's the old announcer jinx. Apologies to Josh Shoemaker for that one. So that's the first pin he has left as he bowls in the 7th frame, and somewhere along the line, 10's going to bite you.
Yep, still a really good shot. Just wasn't driving as hard into the pocket as the last of them were.
So we'll get to see Josh's spare skills here for the first time. And that's not what he wanted either, but again, a little bit of the pressure was off.
Yeah, he's got the luxury of, needing 214
Right. So
to win. All he needs is a couple spares here, and he's got this match sealed up.
how we had a chance to watch the guys warming up before we got started here, and they're warming up on the same lane conditions that they're bowling on now. How did you see everybody try to learn from that opportunity?
That's a great question. Equipment is going to be really important on a shot like this, and the ball that Josh has chosen is absolutely the perfect ball for where we are now. But we are going to have transition, and we're going to have transition all day. And how that continues to cause adjustments is going to be interesting, because what we're seeing right now, there's going to start to be carry down. The lanes, because of where the guys are playing, they're playing them correctly to the right.
Finally, Rob gets a break there.
I want to say that they'll get a little nicer, and right now I don't think Josh has any complaints about the lanes.
Yeah, I think you just answered the question, which was, is the carryover going to be different because the oil pattern is different?
Well, it's not going to be your traditional moves. Traditionally on a house pattern, your moves are 2 and 1. You know how your moves are. This is going to be a little less traditional.
Oof. That sort of sums up the
I
afternoon
honestly
for
think
Rob.
this comes down to ball choices on a fresh pattern like this, where they haven't been bowled on, which means the back ends are really clean, which just means you're going to get the most snap in the back ends. This is where technology really plays a part.
And that's a good
and
spare
shot
pickup.
making. But Josh has created a little area, which you can only wish for, just on
Your
a
own
tougher
little
pattern.
area, right?
Yep.
All right, so 9th frame now for Josh Shoemaker, who has a sizable lead at the moment after getting started with opening with a 6-bagger with 6 strikes to begin with.
And Rob can only get to 193. I'm sorry, 183. No, 193.
And there's
And
another
that
one.
will seal this for him.
So Josh Shoemaker with this incredible start, which is strikes in 8 of the first 9 frames. Again, we talk so much about the challenges and first time on the show and all this stuff, and what does he do? He just comes out and rips a bunch of pins down to show that he is ready to go here on Beat the Champ. So Josh Shoemaker, a successful Beat the Champ debut. He's going to beat Rob Piccoli. Next up for him is a bright, we got a couple of young guns coming your way the rest of this show. And the first of them is Alex Aughtry. That's the challenger for Josh Shoemaker. We take a break and we'll come back with match number 2. It's Shoemaker with the win over Rob Piccoli here on Beat the Champ. With a 246 to 180 win over Rob Piccoli, Josh Shoemaker advances on to take on Alex Aughtry, 19 years old. I said one of the young guns. We've got a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old coming your way in our next 2 matches. If anybody wondered about the future of this sport, I think we are answering a little bit of it here today. But what an impressive performance by Josh Shoemaker. 1 open frame, 1 spare, and strikes the rest of the way. All that talk of lower scores and challenging oil patterns, Josh is like, get out of here.
Well, what I did mention was transition, and now we're going to see how transition affects Josh and how he adjusts to it, because he's using urethane, which is a much smoother ball, which was the exact right thing to start with. But now there's going to be some carry down, and it's going to be his own carry down that will make the ball, come in a little lighter, a little flatter, like we saw a couple 10 pins. That was his adjustment there on the left lane, a little bit more direct to the pocket, and it paid off for him.
First appearance on our show for Alex Aughtry. He was our high qualifier with a 673 series in the qualifying here at Transit Lanes, where he bowls in a league, and always good to get a little of the nerves out of the way with a first frame strike.
That's right. Now in warm-up, he looked a little bit all over the place, and we thought, there's some nerves playing in, and here he comes up on the first shot and throws just an absolutely excellent first shot.
19 years old from Cheektowaga, New York. Kennel attendant is the occupation for Alex Aughtry. Not all that far removed from bowling on a very high-level Maryvale High School bowling team. And as you were talking to him a little bit, he's bowled some of the junior gold events, and as you've said to me, that's a really good preparation for a younger bowler to take the step up to something like this show.
Right, and this shot here, he did not get out to his break point. This one was well inside of his break point and got the result you would expect, a little high.
Yep.
Again, on these patterns, if you miss in, it's going to continue to hook.
Yeah, so we might see a lot of those high hits to the left of the head
Well,
pin, right?
if they miss in, yes, on the flat pattern, good spare there. Back to what you said about junior gold, and that's really what the kids have just on the highest level they can possibly bowl and see what's out there in the whole country. And one thing that Alex took away from that is how many great bowlers there are out there. And he met some people, asked a lot of questions, and that's what you have to do at this age. You have to gather knowledge because he's rather inexperienced at the age that he's at.
Yeah, he's late to the game. He only started bowling at age 15. Tell you more about his story in a moment. Josh Shoemaker, speaking of high school, bowled at the Rush Henrietta High School bowling team as well, and he rung that one around the 10 pin. And I mentioned that Josh is a firefighter in Henrietta, New York, and part of the combination of his profession and his bowling interest is helping to donate over 250 bowling balls to youth players in the Rochester area, and good for Josh for, again, continuing to try to grow this sport that he loves so much. And we love it when, it's not that far a drive, but when we get a guy from Rochester that comes to Buffalo to qualify and vice versa.
Right, we have Shoemaker and Rochester today on the show.
So we've got all points of Western New York covered here, which is great, and it tells us that we're doing things right, that these guys want to make the effort to be on our show, and it tells us that the sport is in good health as well, that guys are willing to give up some of that time to do it.
That's right, and it being well announced that this was going to be a little tougher pattern didn't scare anybody off.
Nope.
Had a great turnout for qualifying, and again, when you post scores like 620, 640 to make the cut, it seems very reasonable. Great shot right there. So far, he's made all the right adjustments, and I think what we are going to see a little bit of a difference in is in experience. I mean, Josh knew what was going to happen and adjusted for it accordingly, where,
We're not sure about that with Alex yet. Now, I mentioned Alex bowls in the league here at Transit. Alex was a baseball player in high school and told us, a pitcher, and said he had some arm injuries, not uncommon for young pitchers with elbow and shoulder. And he said, he goes, the injuries prevented that overhand motion, but the bowling of being the underhanded motion was something that he could do pretty well, and kind of decided to take it up. And there you get a look at his family, and that's his grandfather on the right, who played a role in helping him find some love for the sport. Grandpa actually came up from Florida just to be here to watch Alex on our show today. Good job,
right.
Grandpa.
His little brother Ben is also shaping up to be a really great bowler. He bowled in our holiday tournament, and I got a chance to meet him firsthand, watch him bowl, and there's going to be a day we're going to see that young man on here too.
Yeah, and again, I think you can look at Alex, and as I told you, he was a baseball player. He's an athlete, right?
Yeah.
He looks like an athlete. So, again, this is going to sound wrong, and I don't mean it to be. Bowling seems to be one of those sports where you don't necessarily have to be a great athlete to be good at the sport. But if you are, how much does that help?
Well, it's going to be good for his body. It's going to hold up, and he is bowling without his thumb in the ball, so obviously it's going to take a little more arm strength to to keep that on his wrist the way that he does. Got that one in a little bit too. Yet to see whether it's maybe a part of the lane condition that we saw it happen to Rob too on that left lane, so could be adjustment they have to make. Josh is playing further right, and so he might not be finding that little earlier hook out there. But I'll tell you one thing that's for a young bowler to look at, and that is to see what your opponent is doing. I mean, if you're looking at your opponent having 8 out of 10 strikes in the first match and come out with a couple strikes the next match, he's doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to gather all the information you can to help you. You have to see where someone else is playing and not be afraid to go make that spot your own.
Yeah, and that's something that our defending champion, who we'll see in our next match, Dylon Ingersoll, told us that he is going to be locked in on watching those first 2 matches because by nature being a returning champ, Dylon did not bowl on this oil pattern here at Transit Lane. So he said he's going to be paying a lot of attention. And right now, if he's watching what Josh is doing, that should help. Right.
There's a big difference between watching your opponent while you're bowling them. That can be a distraction. A lot of bowlers do not like to watch their fellow bowler bowl because they don't want to see, a break here or there and let that get into their head. But prior to getting on a lane condition, you want to see what the people ahead of you are doing.
I feel like I've noticed a few times as we've watched Josh put up a lot of strikes that there are some of those very typical two-handed power strikes. That is one of them, right? Is that, again, we talk a lot about the benefits of being a two-hander where sometimes you can just blow those pins out the back of the pit there.
Yeah, this is actually controlling your break point because all houses have different pocket hits that carry. Because even though the pins look like they're set up the same, there is subtle differences in how the pins line up. And so there's always going to be, sometimes the light hits carry better, sometimes the high flush hits carry better. And in this case, these half pockets, what you're seeing where the 10 pins are, where the ball isn't driving as hard into the pocket, and we're seeing a lot of 10 pins. Josh is controlling his break point so that it hits just a little higher flush. Not high, but the ball is driving a little higher into the pocket, and that's creating the good carry.
Now, he's got the thumb in for the spare ball.
Right.
Unlike when he before.
Yes, the big controversial subject. If you can use with a thumb, without a thumb, the ball just has to not have a thumb hole if you're not going to use it.
Right. The controversy being, should you be all or one?
Yeah. Not really. The controversy being, should you put your whole thumb in the ball or should you just rest it on the ball?
Mm-hmm.
But that's a story for another week.
Right. All right. So a strike in the first and then 4 straight spares, and there's a 6th frame strike for Alex Aughtry. He needed that. That keeps this match tight. We'll come back for the conclusion of match number 2. It's Beat the Champ presented by Storm.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends,
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
we are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Four of this season's best bowlers will emerge from an elite field and take aim at the season's biggest first-place check, where only one can win. It's the season finale and the coveted title, the Beat the Champ Invitational, presented by Storm. Find out who wins this season's signature event. Catch all the action here on MSG.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends,
Great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
we are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Well, this match got a little more interesting while we were gone. Josh Shoemaker had spares in the 6th and 7th. Alex had that strike in the 6th, comes back with a strike in the 7th, and we are headed down the stretch in a really good match right now.
Yeah, this has really tightened up. Oh, he got
yeah.
he got a little quick on that. He got to his feet got fast,
Never broke to the left enough.
He lost it to the right. Not what he wanted to do here. Got a little amped up because he knew he put himself right back in this match.
Understand. Again, it's something controlling your emotions is part of this sport as well.
You know, the difference is Josh might have lost a little bit of his carry, but he's still keeping the ball very well in play. So you can count on Josh probably not making a huge mistake, but he's not running away either.
Challenging spare for Alex Aughtry. Not that challenging. And Alex's cheering section, gotta like what they're seeing right now from the debut Beat the Champ performance by the 19-year-old Alex Aughtry. So the grizzled 28-year-old veteran Josh
grizzled
Shoemaker.
28-year-old? Ouch, what are we?
I don't even want to go there. I don't want to go there. We have the potential. We have the potential. If Alex wins this, it's going to be 19-year-old versus 18-year-old for the championship this week.
I know we're going to have to call this the Teen Beat the Champ.
I was going to say this is the unofficial Teen Beat the Champ, but Josh going to have something to say about that first. All right, so he's bowled great. He's got spares in his last two, and he needed that 8th frame strike as well.
Absolutely, that was a good place for that. Still looking for how the ball is going to enter the pocket. And he's very aware, believe me. Perfect.
Yep. Been impressive to watch Josh here. Again, a new guy on our show, a Rochester guy, so not necessarily in the Buffalo bowling world that people would know everything about him. He was a fun guy to talk to. I know you had a nice conversation with him, and he's been fun to watch here. Just seems very calm and calculating and level-headed, and those are all good traits.
Very knowledgeable. Definitely came with a plan with this urethane ball.
That is 2 in a row now.
Really, his moves have been really impressive. Like on a shot where you really do have to think, and he is not only keeping his ball in play, he is maximizing how the ball needs to hit the pocket in order to carry.
All right.
Great job.
Yeah, so now a little bit of the pressure back on Alex. He probably needs a bunch of strikes here.
Yeah, his only choice here is to strike out. That double really put Josh in a position to win the match.
9th frame, yeah, that's not what he wanted.
It was driving,
not what he
but
needed.
It ran out of steam.
And again, if this doesn't go Alex's way, doesn't diminish from getting a chance to see a really bright young bowler here on our show, and I would suspect we'll see him in the future if he's ready to commit to this sport, which it seems like he is. There's a lot of talent there.
And my recommendation to him, even when I spoke with him out there, just getting a feel for his age, was that no matter what happened, use it as a learning experience. This is a learning experience on these type of shots, that he'll be ahead of everyone else by bowling on this and seeing what these conditions do. And I told him to ask questions. It's super important to ask questions of the people older than you, because this type of position here is where your knowledge is gonna rise to the top. It's just not physical. It's very mental.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly has the advantage of
Great shot.
Youth and strength and an incredible amount of athletic ability. But as you have educated all of me and all of our viewers, this sport is so much about what's upstairs.
That's right.
And if you are the smartest and best adjusting bowler, you'll beat the better athletes all the time.
Well, everybody's a golfer. You're a golfer. I'm not a golfer.
I don't know if I'd qualify for that. But
and golfing
I'm a person who golfs. Let's leave it at that.
Right, but golfers expect that it's going to be hard. They don't expect as much from themselves as bowlers do. And here you are bowling on a bowling lane, and it's clear oil. You cannot see your obstacles. You have to figure your obstacles out with a piece of technology that can really react differently based on the pattern that you can't see. So I guess I just really don't understand how anybody thinks this sport is easy. And anything where you can't see your obstacles and you have to figure it out on your own while you're executing physically, it's very difficult.
Right. The people who think this sport is easy tend to spend a lot of time at the restaurant afterwards drowning their sorrows,
Well,
don't they?
granted, the house lane conditions do simplify it to an extent, but when you're watching PBA and when you're watching this here today, this is what they're bowling on. They're bowling on these challenging conditions where their knowledge and their skill and their ability to repeat shots all have to come to play at the same time.
Yeah, so it's a 199 on the board for Alex Aughtry, and it will not be enough as Josh Shoemaker will win his second consecutive match, and he'll head off to our championship match against Dylon Ingersoll. And we are good to go to get you ready for the championship. We'll come back, Shoemaker and Ingersoll, to crown a new Beat the Champ winner when we return. Championship match, Josh Shoemaker from Henrietta, New York, Dylon Ingersoll from Salamanca, New York, bowling here in Williamsville, New York. It's our title match, week 1 here at Transit Lanes. And we get Dylon Ingersoll back from a week ago where he beat Dad down at Central Lanes in Salamanca for his second consecutive victory and advances here to the northern Buffalo suburbs. And a good start for Dylon Ingersoll, the 18-year-old from Salamanca.
Right. When he comes back up, we'll talk a little bit more about his preparation, but keep in mind he came from a wood house into a synthetic condition, from a house shot that had been quite bowled on, little hooking condition, to a flat medium pattern. So a lot of preparation is necessary for that.
And the advantage that Josh has is he's bowled qualifying and 2 matches already today, which is 3 more than Dylon has bowled.
That's right. So Dylon has to come in and not even have only get practice on this.
Right, because as our defending champ, he doesn't have to, nor is he allowed to qualify.
Right. And, you can't simulate the competitive atmosphere. Throwing balls in practice will give you an idea of what's going on out there, but when the lights are on and you're competing, that's a little bit different and hard to simulate.
Yeah, good start for Josh Shoemaker, averaging 236 in the first 2 matches. He knocked off Alex Aughtry 227, 199 after a 246, 180 win over Rob Piccoli. So Josh Shoemaker has come right out of the gate here with a good feel for what these lanes want to do, and that's now on Dylon to work his way through that. Third show for Dylon, as we mentioned. He comes from having won 2 in a row down there at Salamanca. Now, again, the interesting thing is he's bowled 3 games on our show, all at Salamanca, and he's only averaged 203. He only needed 205 to win over his dad. So he hasn't put up the big numbers, and there's Dad, as we mentioned, and happy birthday to Dwayne as well today to get to watch Dylon bowl here today. But does the lower scores at one center mean anything for where we are here?
Nope, it's all relative to what you're bowling on. It's just that you score higher than the next person, and then very important not to get caught up in the numbers and feel like because you only shot 200 or you only shot 180 or 190 that it wasn't good. It's all reliant on what you're bowling on.
Oh, look at that angle.
Yeah, we're looking at him.
Didn't want to see a lot of pins left from that
really
angle,
opening the lane up, and whether this could have been done the first game we talked about transition. He is coming in on a shot that has already had a few games on it, and will tame down a little bit, but that one he got to the right and it really jumped up on him. He's using a pretty aggressive ball in the back end, so he's really relying on that big angle.
Let's see if he can knock down the picket fence there, and he'll get 2 of them, but not all 3 of them. So that's an open in the 3rd frame for Dylon Ingersoll. And again, what Josh Shoemaker has been able to do through our first 2 matches is not only bowl great, but sort of take his opponent out by bowling so well and maybe forcing the opponents into a little bit of a pressure situation.
Well, it feels to me that Josh is bowling his own game, and because he's staying really close to where he started. He's making subtle changes to get the ball to hit where he wants it to hit, to drive the pocket the way he wants it to, but he is ultra focused on his own game. First time we saw him go just a little bit high.
Yeah, he's had a lot of strikes, has Josh Shoemaker. And you know what? Only one open frame through the first 2 matches as well.
I mean, that's the first time that he's even come close to missing the pocket. And that was really just high.
Eyes up that spare.
His
Gets
focus is excellent.
All right, you yelled at me in the commercial break for even the mere illusion that bowlers are not athletes. So full apology. Please delete whatever you may be typing to attack me about it. What I meant was athletic, not athletes.
And
of course bowlers are athletes.
It's more important now. Fitness and I think, eating, healthy eating and all of that has, come into all sports. Hockey, football, everything. They all have chefs. They all have, it's different than it was 20 years ago. But my 20 years ago story was I was out on tour with Jack, and we went to breakfast in the morning and sat and watched out the window while Amuletto Monticelli jumped rope. We ordered breakfast, ate our breakfast, paid for our breakfast, and he never stopped jumping rope the entire time. Talk about feeling guilty about eating your pancakes is watching Amuletto Monticelli jumping rope for 45 minutes.
That's great. Hope the pancakes were good.
He was one of the first to be that fit.
Our host center for Beat the Champ, presented by Storm, is Transit Lanes, and you can follow them online at transitlanes.net. They are just one of our many great host centers. If you want details on how you can be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask, how can I be on the show? And we could be seeing you here on the lanes. You better hurry up. We only have one more show left in this season. And that'll be coming up next month at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. And then we'll take a little break, and then we'll be back for season number 2. But we are excited as we come to the end of what I know I feel, and I know you do, has been a very successful first season of the show here. And we can't wait to finish our shows here and then at Rapids, and then we've got our really cool season-ending invitational coming your way next month up at the Rapids Bowling Center.
Yeah, a great way to cap off a great first season.
We'll take a break, and we'll come back and decide who we're going to crown as our latest Beat the Champ winner.
What is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach. Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So if no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
Dylon Ingersoll's 6th frame. Good strike for Dylon. 18 years old, Salamanca, New York, photographer is the occupation. Started as a two-handed bowler, and because Dad was a one-handed bowler, and I think we kind of got the story like Dad is like, what are you doing? Do it this way. Changed to become a pretty successful one-handed bowler.
Yeah, that normally goes the opposite way.
It does.
I've also been told a story, and we talked a little bit about Junior Gold, where one of our local bowlers in the area went for his first trip to Junior Gold, and changed to a two-hander because he felt like in order to compete on the level that nationally there was just so many more two-handers and their scoring pace just felt higher. So he came home and turned into a two-hander. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. Just one other note about Dylon bowled on the Salamanca High School bowling team, and they won a Class C high school championship while he was there. One of the great achievements in the young life that will have a lot more really good achievements for Dylon Ingersoll. And will one of those achievements be a third week in a row? It's Josh Shoemaker's got something to say about that. But with 2 strikes in a row, Dylon's putting did that pin bounce?
Yeah, there's the great equalizer right there.
Did that pin bounce? Let's see.
Well,
It did.
Twice. It jumped a couple times.
That's awesome. I can't believe I still have eyes that can see stuff like that. But that was awesome. Thank you guys in the control room and on the crew for getting us that great shot.
Big spare. That 10-pin can be the great equalizer because even though that was a very good shot, couldn't get that to go down. And with Dylon having a double, he can obviously expand on that and keep this a lot closer. Right now we're looking at a 23-pin difference. Dylon's down 23, but he also has that extra worker strike going, right?
Yep. So again, this is critical. We're in the 8th frame now. A strike for Josh could go a long way towards getting him the win, and that's not going to happen.
Probably his first truly
bad shot.
Bad shot.
Yeah, I agree with you. After 246 and 227 in our first 2 matches. Got that one way to the left. Yeah, and again, we're in a championship match situation, right? You know, a little more pressure, a little more. You want to be the champ, you want to be the winner, you want to get the bigger prize.
Right.
The pressure.
We talk about all the factors that go into this and mental and emotional. I mean, Dylon posted that double right at a perfect time. We're going into the last 3 frames of the game. And, Josh has had to make perfect shots in order to carry. And that double plays on you, because it can make this match a lot closer.
All right.
In fact, we're looking at a 10-pin match here if he can post up a double.
Yeah, so he's got strikes in 6 and 7, and he is ready to go in the 8th.
Actually, a double here will make this match completely even. Big shot.
And that is 3 in a row for Dylon Ingersoll.
Very impressive. And again, keep in mind, this young man came from bowling on a completely different condition. Wood lanes, Salamanca, not throwing any qualifying competitively on this particular shot. We talked a little bit about his preparation, and when I asked him what went into his preparation, he said that him and his buddy, they do bowl in a synthetic house, and they lay out all different kinds of patterns.
4 in a row.
And so he works on his game on different patterns. Great preparation and great practice doing that.
Yeah, I asked Dylon, I said, it's about an hour and a half drive from Salamanca north here to Williamsville. I said, what were you on the drive? Were you thinking about everything going into trying to win, or were you able to put it out of your mind and just relax? He said, a little of both, right? A little of both. So 4 in a row for Dylon, and now the pressure spins right back for the first time today on Josh Shoemaker. And that's how you answer the pressure. Strike in the 9th.
Important to say that he cannot shut Dylon out. Pretty much at this point, Dylon has to match him ball for ball.
Got to keep putting the pressure on. Yeah, he knew it. He knew he needed that, and he knew how important it was in the 9th frame.
Very stoic. He's been steady this whole time. We haven't seen any big fluctuation in emotion.
Well, he's got he's a firefighter. He's got the calmness. If I ever need any emergency services and I'm in Henrietta, I hope it's Josh that shows up.
Yep, he's at work right now.
There you go.
Now,
2 in a row for Josh.
Adjustment off that last shot in this lane that went high. This one, his target was definitely a little bit more right. He was playing this lane a little bit straighter, moved his eyes a little bit right to catch some of those dry boards to help his ball hit a little heavier.
All right, so what's Josh looking to do here as he finishes out the 10th frame?
Well, if he does not strike out, he can lose. His only way to force what could possibly be a tie is to continue to strike. If he does not strike in the next 2 balls, Dylon can come up and beat him.
All right, so a lot on the line here. Second ball of the 10th frame.
Now that one was in. This could be a very interesting 10th frame for Dylon.
So it is all going to fall on Dylon Ingersoll, which is ultimately what you want, to have control when you go to the 10th frame to decide your fate.
I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it.
Please do.
Dylon has not struck on the right lane this match.
Ooh, I like it. All right, so the spare pickup gives Josh Shoemaker a 233.
Very impressive score.
Yes. Look at the consistency. 246, 227, 233.
Completely clean. Had no opens for the last 3 games.
All right, so here we go to the 10th frame for Dylon Ingersoll. He needs a strike, a 9, and a spare. And he'll win.
One at a time. Oh, he got that further right.
And that is not what he needed, and that means Josh Shoemaker is our new champion. We'll talk with Josh after an impressive performance today when we come back. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
Great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Four of this season's best bowlers will emerge from an elite field and take aim at the season's biggest first-place check, where only one can win. It's the season finale and the coveted title, the Beat the Champ Invitational, presented by Storm. Find out who wins this season's signature event. Catch all the action here on MSG. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. 233 to 211 gets Josh Shoemaker his first championship. He wins 3 in a row, averages over 230. We're going to get to see him again because he will join Sue and I when we come to you next week from here at Transit Lanes in Williamsville, New York. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.